Planning a bachelorette party on a budget? I'm going to show you how to make stud muffins, a bride banner, a ring wreath, and a chalkboard and acrylic sign, all from the Dollar Tree. First, we're going to start with stud muffins. I took a picture of the groom. I put him in a collage app on my phone to make sure I had 6 of him in one image, and then I had it printed at CVS on a regular 4x6 photo. I just cut out the outline of his head, and then I'm laying them all flat so that I can go ahead and hot glue the toothpick onto the back of each of his faces. The best way to hot glue them was to put the hot glue dot down and then take the toothpick and just twirl it so that the toothpick was coated on the front and the back with hot glue. The Dollar Tree item were the toothpicks. This stud muffin idea was a great hit with all of the girls at the party. Next up is a ring wreath, and all of these items except for the yarn was from the Dollar Tree. So I started with a wreath form, a styrofoam one from the Dollar Tree, and I put a dot of hot glue and I made that my starting point for where I would wrap the yarn around the entire wreath form. You can do this in any color yarn that fits your theme for the bachelorette party. I found the best way to wrap around the string was to cut a large piece off from the big roll of yarn, and then this way it was easier to work with. And I would just drop it in and just keep wrapping it around. This technique I'm showing you here was the best for when you would start with a new bunch of string, or when you ran out of the old string. I would kind of crisscross the 2 yarns, the old and the new, onto the hot glue, and so there was no lapse or gapping between the old and the new string. They just kind of blended into each other. And then at the end, I will just go around and I'll cut off all the excess pieces of string. I also found it easy to drop the yarn in like this and then just bunch it and squish it over once I had a few pieces wrapped around. I thought this helped it go by a little bit more smoothly. I made sure that all of the end pieces met on one side so that the front side would have a continuation with no hot glue marks. And then I cut off all the excess pieces, and you'll see the rewards once I flip it over to the front. Look how cute. So now I'm just using poster board from Dollar Tree, where I'm outlining kind of like a diamond shape, and I'm just using the wreath form as a stencil in a way to match up the curve with the wreath curve. Then I'm using this X-Acto knife. I got it off of Amazon. I will link it in the description box below. It worked out better once I added a cutting board underneath, because then I was able to push down harder and really break it off exactly how I wanted it. I also cut off the triangle off the top to give it a flat edge, kind of like to mimic a diamond. Then I took a piece of tin foil and I just went around it, freestyled it with an X-Acto knife, just so that I could wrap a little bit of the edging of the tin foil around the edge of the fake diamond. When you're hot gluing, just be sure that the hot glue strokes are kind of even, or else it could form little bubbles in the hot glue and might raise the surface a little bit, so that's just something to be aware of. Next, I'm going to use these little strips of gems from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put it on the top part of the diamond to emphasize the facets, I suppose. And they broke off very easily, so if the strips were too long, I could just break it off and put a piece where I needed it. I really just kind of freestyled this whole thing. Next, I'm just going to hot glue the base of the diamond to the wreath form, and you'll see that I'm going to make an extra sturdy backing to it because I was afraid that it could just fall off. This extra little backing that I did really helped it stay on. It was very sturdy. You can also attach a string to hold it up. If I were to redo this project, I would put this little loop closer to the diamond. Where I had it, I just thought it was a little bit too off. Next is a bride banner, and all of the supplies used were from the Dollar Tree. So I got a little pack of baker's twine. It had a nice light blue color because the DIY banner pack only came with red. I'm using these turquoise letters, although there were other letter options. They had like farmhouse style and different things, but I thought these would pop and they were the best fit. The pack of banners only came with 5, so if you needed more letters, you would have to get another pack, but this was perfect to spell out bride. Here I am just hot gluing all of the letters on, and I'm taking out that light blue color string, and I'm just going to string through all of the letters onto a very long piece of the string. And this project was so easy to do, and it was only $3. It made quite an impact for that price. Next up is a chalkboard sign. Since I only used 2 products from the Dollar Tree, it was only $2. I used a photo frame and I used one of those mini chalkboards. I just disassembled the photo frame, took out the glass, and I'm saving that for another project. I just unwrapped the chalkboard and just placed that inside of the frame. I reassembled the frame so that the chalkboard sign would be nice and tight inside of the frame. And now you can just write whatever you want on it. I accented this chalkboard with some greenery from Walmart and some fairy lights from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to show you what to do with that glass plate that came inside of the photo frame. We're going to use it as an acrylic sign. I'm also going to need a backing for the acrylic sign to make my writing on the acrylic sign really pop. So I'm just using more poster board and my X-Acto knife and a cutting board to cut out a background for my glass. Now I'm just going to paint that poster board with a coordinating color. You can do this any color you'd like, but I'm just using turquoise to kind of stick to a theme. And isn't this so relaxing to watch? Just each stroke. Very relaxing. Is this ASMR? Next, just write whatever you want to on top of the glass plate. In this case, I'm writing Studmuffins, obviously because it's for the Studmuffins. You don't need to know any kind of fancy handwriting in order to do it. You can also just get some inspiration from Pinterest for the font you're going to use and also just for this phrase that you want to use. But I just used kind of my natural handwriting. I thought the thing Studmuffins was good enough. Now I'm using a display easel, also from the Dollar Tree, and you can see that it's just kind of see-through alone. But once you put a backing to it with some color, it makes the words really pop. Diamond ring pool float. Does this not just top off everything else? I'll link it in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please go ahead and like it and subscribe and let me know what you think of it in the comments below.